Duffy's most frustrating starts as a Royal, as he departed in the fourth inning because of a leg cramp. Tonight, he gets the Chicago Cubs at Kauffman Stadium on Fox Sports Kansas City. Two of the best young shortstops in the major leagues were on display here last night, and we got to see why the Cubs are so high on 21-year-old Starlin Castro. The Cubs took Game 1 from the Royals 6-4. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I'm Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. The Cubs taking Game 1 mostly because of a defensive play that wasn't made by the Royals in the ninth inning, which is really a shame, Frank, because all night long the Royals were making defensive plays.
They made them over and over again, especially in the outfield. They did a great job of getting the ball back into the bases, and it kind of starts with defense with Frank Coeur making a great throw to third base from Mike Moustakas against Soto, and Alex Gordon playing this ball off the wall. He gets Escobar perfect in stride, and he makes a nice throw to Brian Pena to get Soriano at the plate, and there's Alex getting Ramirez at second base, trying to stretch a single into a double.
So 3 more outfield assists for the Royals this year. That's 28 to lead the major leagues. And Alex Gordon leads the way as far as individual outfielders with 11. That leads both the American League and the National League. Now, 2 of those 3 are going to get the night off tonight. So we're going to see, first of all, Jarrod Dyson in the starting lineup.
Well, I'm excited to see Dyson in the game because we know what he can do. When he changes the game with that speed when he gets in the game and he walks in the second, third. And I tell you what, he can do the impossible as we see in this play right here.
And Mitch Meyer will get a start. He'll be in right field.
Well, Mitch, I tell you, Mitch, one of those guys that always draws a tough assignments. He sits for a while, but he always seems to do something positive when he gets in the ball game.
Aside from an inning here and an inning there in spring training, this will be the first time the Royals officially face Carlos Zambrano, who won his last start beating the White Sox, and he leads the Cubs with 6 wins this year. We'll check the Cubs starting lineup when we come back. When you play, students win. So we're getting ready for Game 2 with the Royals and the Cubs, and here's how the Cubs are lined up against Danny Duffy tonight.
Kosuke Fukudomi started last night in center field and batted first. He's going to be replaced by Reed Johnson tonight. We've talked about Starlin Castro, and Aramis Ramirez had a big night with the bat last night.
And we expected that with Bruce Chen on the mound. He was already 6 for 10 against Bruce before the game started. Then he went 3 for 3 against him.
Had a big night. They had 3 base hits and also pulled a double. But this one here down the line, Alex did a great job in getting this. Otherwise, he would have ended with 2 doubles. But did swing the bat very well against Bruce Chen last night.
Now, Ram Trucks will show us the Royals defensively tonight, and the changes are in the outfield. Gerard Dyson in center field, Mitch Meyer in right, same infield, and it's Matt Traynor back of the plate for Danny Duffy. Alex Gordon's made a change in the lineup, but that hasn't slowed him down. He's hitting .368 against the National League, and during this homestand, when he made the switch, he's hitting .467. It's the Royals and the Cubs, and the first pitch is next. Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. And they're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. And we all say welcome to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. And Royals baseball comes to you in high definition tonight, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no-fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Before the game tonight, Kevin Apier was inducted into the Royals Hall of Fame. And with more on that induction, let's go out to the Hall of Fame, and here's Joel Goldberg.
Ryan, thanks. The Hall of Fame always up to date on things, and they've got a Kevin Apier display. Here's his first jersey from his rookie year when he was 12 and 8. Got the Roberto Clemente Award, which he won twice as the Man of the Year here in Kansas City. This is his final season jersey when he came back to Kansas City. And how about this baseball? Striking out Jim Thome September 18th, 1998 to make Kevin Apier the all-time strikeouts leader for the Royals, and now a Royals Hall of Famer. Guys?
All right, thank you, Joel. Kevin Apier becomes the 24th member of the Royals Hall of Fame. playing 13 of his 16 big league seasons here in Kansas City. 3 times he was the Royals Pitcher of the Year, and he still holds the Royals record for career strikeouts with 1,458. And now the Royals take the field for Game 2 with the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs winning last night 6-4, getting 2 runs in the 9th inning, and the Royals had the tying runs on base in the bottom of the 9th inning, but Carlos Marmol was able to get Alex Gordon to end the game. So here's Danny Duffy's season numbers, and Frank, we look at the walks. 22 walks in 34 innings. However, only 3 of those 22 have come around to score.
He's done a good job at minimizing damage, Ryan, but I think we're at this point with Danny Duffy. He's had enough starts now, and we can talk about it. He needs to get his fastball command down. He needs to introduce the secondary pitches, but I think this is one of those nights where you just got to see what he's going to bring to the table.
Averaging almost a strikeout per inning pitch, and he did much better than that on Sunday against the Cardinals with a career high 9, but only 3 2/3 innings because of a calf cramp. He did have 90 pitches in 3 2/3, so we'll see how that carries over tonight.
Well, pretty impressive on the strikeouts, and Danny Duffy himself said, you know, I'd trade getting to the 6th inning for those 9 strikeouts, because that's a lot of pitches in 3 1/3 innings. I mean, that's one thing that tells you that there was no adjustments made at all to try to get through, to get those early outs, early contact from the hitters, and get himself deep in the game.
So he'll get Reed Johnson, Starlin Castro, and Jeff Baker in the top of the 1st inning. Reed Johnson appeared late last night defensively. Kosuke Fukudome was in center field. He's a left-hand hitter, so Mike Quade goes with the right-hand hitting Reed Johnson.
Reed Johnson started the season 0 for 7, but it's gone 30 for 79 since. So he's really swinging a hot bat against left-handed pitching, especially.
And Danny's first pitch is at the knees for a strike at 96 miles an hour. He's pitching with a little bit of pressure tonight. All depends on how much pressure he puts on himself, but right now everything points towards him going back to the minor leagues when Kyle Davies returns after his final rehab start. Got it in on the hands, and Johnson hits a pop-up, and Escobar calling off Chris Getz, and 1 away in the 1st inning. Starting to feel more like Kansas City on June the 25th. After mild temperatures early in the homestand, 84 degrees now, close to 90 earlier today. The game started at 6:12, and the time of temp is brought to you by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCI. And Kauffman Stadium is near packed again tonight as it was last night, over 32,000 for Game 1. A little bit outside to Starlin Castro with a 3-hit game last night and an RBI. He is hitting .429 in his last 8 games.
I agree. I think Danny Duffy's mission now is tonight, really, especially just try to improve in some of those areas like pitch count, deep counts, and then he's aware of what's at stake here also, Ryan. And is there pressure on him? Yeah. Will he put a little pressure on himself? He can't help but do that. So he just got to figure out a balance in there that he can get the job done and make this decision, whatever it may be, hard for Ned Yost and the front office.
And now 3 balls and no strikes on Castro. With 3 hits, Castro already has more than 100 this year. 102, and that's the 2nd most in the National League. The Mets' Jose Reyes is the only National Leaguer with more hits. So a pop up to short, and now a 4-pitch walk. So Duffy will work out of the stretch with 1 out, and Jeff Baker coming to the plate. Baker batted 4th last night and was 1 for 4 with an RBI triple. He is the extra bat that the Cubs get playing with the American League rules. So without the pitcher hitting, he is the DH. And that's a little low, ball one. The Cubs on their sleeve with the number 10, like us, they had a huge loss in their family. A former Cub and a former broadcaster, just like Paul Splittorff. Ron Santo died during the offseason, known as Mr. Cub.
Man, it's really hard to find another guy who loves his team as much as Ron Santo loved the Cubs.
Castro didn't have a very big lead. He is a threat to run. The Cubs don't run much at all as a team. They have 24 this year. That's the second fewest in their league. Castro has 10 of those 24 stolen bases. And Duffy had him going back to first as he misses to Baker. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, when you don't steal bases, you have to do a lot of things right. You got to really do a good job in hitting with runners in scoring position. You got to do a good job getting extra base hits, because that's just another element of the game where you can score runs.
Chased a pitch that was up, and it's Mitch Meyer in right field tonight. So he makes the catch. Sunglasses down. And Castro back to first, 2 away. Most of the time the pitcher has the advantage in the early innings during the 6-10 start, as the pitcher stands in the shadows, and then there's plenty of sunlight in the outfield, including the hitter's backdrop. No problem for Ramirez, though. That's his 4th hit of the series. So he is 4 out of 5 against the Royals, and the Cubs have runners at first and second with 2 outs.
Well, you can see Castro on Duffy's move. Take that step back to first base, and that in itself could keep you from going first to third on that base hit. No, Aramis Ramirez is a fastball hitter, and so these big hitters in the middle of the lineup, this is where Duffy's curveball and his changeup comes into play on first pitch.
So from one hitter swinging the bat well to a struggling hitter in Giovanni Soto, and almost hit on the knee. Soto hitting .211. 0 for 3 last night with a couple of strikeouts, and in his last 69 at bats, Soto has 13 hits. Grounded on 1 hop to Moustakas. He'll go the short way, and the Cubs lead 2 against Duffy in the first. 6-game losing streak tonight. It's their second 6-game losing streak of the year. They also lost 6 in a row in late April. And here is Ned Yost's lineup tonight. He has Gerard Dyson leading off in center field, so Melky Cabrera gets the game off, and Mitch Meyer will get the start in right. And Jeff Francoeur, who has by far the most career at bats against Carlos Zambrano, Meyer is off tonight. So Carlos Zambrano, a very impressive career record. 122 wins, 78 losses. That's 44 games above 500. He has had 14 or more wins in his career 5 times. His best season was 07 when he won 18. And he beat the White Sox on Monday. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning, none in the next 7. And he finished the game retiring 11 out of 12.
Well, Zambrano's the guy, Ryan, they had to adjust his arm angle. They got him back more on top, and that created some down angle. And that not only improved his fastball command, but also improved his slider. And there was some concern at that lower angle that he lost some command. But emotionally, they say he's better.
Well, unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for the Cubs, what comes to mind for Carlos Zambrano recently was the problem that he had last year with his teammate Derek Lee. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Gerard Dyson. That was on June the 25th and was placed on the restricted list by the Cubs and was out for a while. He had been sent to the bullpen earlier in the year, so it was up and down, a frustrating year for him, but he finished 8-0 and now 6 wins this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Gerard Dyson. This is his first plate appearance since being called back up. That was 6 days ago. He was in the minor leagues for about a month.
Zambrano's one of those guys that like to hit too. I mean, he likes to swing the bat. He swings aggressively. He's got 3 Silver Slugger awards to his credit. I mean, that's getting in there and getting it done.
He's hitting .313 this year with a home run. And Dyson rolls it to Pena. He'll go to the bag himself. 1 out. Now we'll take a look at the Cubs defensively tonight, presented by Ram Trucks. Soriano, Reed, Johnson, Montañez in the outfield. Johnson is a change from last night. Same infield, Ramirez, Castro, LeMahieu, and Pena on the dirt. And Giovanni Soto is behind the plate. And ball 1 to Eric Hosmer. Tough night for Eric last night, 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. Zambrano pitching him down 2-0.
Yeah, he's 1 for 18, and that's one of those situations where you just hope he doesn't start pressing even more and trying to swing a little bit harder. You just got to find that happy medium in there where he does get a good pitch to hit and he puts a good swing on it, but don't try to kill the ball. And then we kind of go back to Escobar earlier. He get those good pitches to hit, overswings, fouls them off, and then he finally got to the point where he waited a little bit, cut his swing down, started to get a lot of base hits.
And that's a pitch right there that he's better off laying off. Not a strike, and it's the difference between 3 balls and 1 strike, or as it is right now, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Right, that's a good window to pitch in, because the left-handed hitters have a hard time laying off of it. They do see it well, and they just at that point now where he's just not real confident in any of the pitches that come up there.
Still 2-2.
But I don't think it's really anything to worry about in terms of, you know, what's wrong with Eric Hosmer. I think basically you're just seeing the process. You're seeing the major leagues versus the minor leagues. You're seeing pitchers at this level able to hit your spot over and over again and force you to make changes. And if you don't make them quickly, then the at-bats pile up. So the quicker you make them, the more success you're going to have.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Right as Zambrano was ready to go. Home plate umpire Eric Cooper calling time. And that's way inside for a 1-out walk. So tried to get him to chase a slider down and in. Instead, Zambrano puts Hosmer at first base. The Cubs have issued the most walks in the National League. Pitching coach Mark Riggins, and that's the appropriate response after seeing all those walks this year.
Well, and you wonder, how do you miss by so much? You know, you just got to be able to be around the plate at this level. You miss by that much, and that's a lack of focus right there on the pitcher's part.
Billy Butler, 2 hits, a double included, and a walk last night. He's hit in 5 in a row, and with a .305 batting average, that is 10th best in the American League. Cubs were guarding the middle, and LeMahieu starts a 4-3 inning-ending double play. The nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Kevin Napier will be joining us in the 3rd inning, inducted into the Royals Hall of Fame earlier tonight, the 24th member of the Royals Hall of Fame. Well, there's his brand new plaque out in the left field Royals Hall of Fame. Danny Duffy back to work, and a strike on Alfonso Soriano.
You take a look at A's picture there, his pose as a pitcher. That goes back to that old drop and drive. You know, the right arm is almost on the ground. You got that back leg, all that weight on the backside, and you just bring it all forward. He put a lot of effort into every pitch that he made.
Not the way you would probably teach it, but it worked for him.
It's all about what works for you at this level. It's kind of, you teach it all. You teach it in the Little League one way, but when you get to this level, it's all about what you do best.
Still 0-2 on Soriano. 1 for 3 with a walk last night. Pointed it out in last night's game, but the Cubs' 2 leading home run hitters are batting 6th and 7th in their current lineup. Carlos Pena, who is on deck behind Soriano, they both have 14 home runs. The top 4 hitters tonight combined have fewer than 14 home runs. Line to center field. That's an easy play for Gerard Dyson. So 1 out in the top of the 2nd inning. Duffy gave up a 1-out walk and a 2-out single in the first, but got Giovanni Soto to ground out. So he's got the leadoff hitter in the first 2 innings, and now pitches to Carlos Pena. Pena hitting just .225, but doing much better than that lately. In his last 8 games, he has 9 RBIs and 5 home runs. He had homered in 3 straight games, and that ended last night.
He had that one stretch where he went 25 games without a home run, so he might be at that point in the season where he's starting to pick it up a little bit.
At the knees, good pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. He is a big strikeout candidate. 71 this year, 5th most in the National League. Duffy coming off 9 strikeouts against the Cardinals. 1-2. Got him with a curveball, so there's his first strikeout, and there are 2 outs in the second.
Well, the good thing about this curveball, he didn't try to overthrow it. He just had a good pace to it, had a good break, got it down to the extension side, and got himself a strikeout. Sometimes you try to overthrow it, it backs up, or you spike it in the ground, but just real good movement on it. Just got on top of it, and it just went down and away from Carlos Pena. Real good curveball. Real good velocity, too.
And ball 1 to Lou Montañez. 1 for 2 with an RBI double last night. And a fastball in for a strike. Gets, goes to the middle. Montañez is out, and so are the Cubs quickly in the second. Moustakas coming up in the bottom of the second inning, and with Kevin Napier inducted into the Hall of Fame, our Sprint You Call It question for tonight: who's the next position player inducted into the Royals Hall? These are players that are eligible: Lou Piniella, Jamie Quirk, Joe Randa, or hitting coach Kevin Seitzer. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals followed by a space and then A, B, C, or D. Alex, 2 more hits last night. 467 on this homestand. Lost a bat and grounds to LeMahieu, who bobbled but recovers quickly. And with 2 pitches, Carlos Zambrano has the first out in the second. So Lou Piniella, the Royals' first Rookie of the Year. Jamie Quirk, player, coach. Joe Randa, 2 different stints with the Royals. Kevin Seitzer, one of the best rookie seasons in Royals history. Just happened to do it when Mark McGwire hit 49 home runs for the A's. And now the Royals hitting coach. 2-0 on Mitch Meyer, who's batting .316. And for Meyer, this is just his 23rd game of the year. Two and two.
Well, that's a real nasty pitch there. I mean, you take a look at this pitch here. Just when you talk about the bottom dropping out of a pitch, there it is right there.
And Meyer just barely making contact. Wasn't quite a screwball, but that changeup that you're talking about from Zambrano almost had the reverse action of a slider. It was that tight with the spin.
Right, he didn't really get that change of grip that we're used to seeing, and it's got good velocity to it. It's like 83 miles an hour, so it really does a good job of turning over.
And Meyer, as he often does, having a good at bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ramirez was very deep at third and safe at first. Well, it wasn't the contact that Mitch was hoping for, but well placed. And he has a 1-out infield single.
Well, he really gets jammed on this pitch and just turns it almost like a good bunt down the third baseline and gets inside on him. And there it is right there. Ramirez has to try to make this play on the run, but Mitch got good speed going down the line.
And now Mike Moustakas with 1 on, 1 out. 1 for 4 last night. Was very accountable, to say the least, in his post-game comments about that bunt in the top of the 9th, which he felt and the Royals felt that he caught on the fly. There's a shot to right field. Tough hop for Montañez. The ball plays him. And as a result, Mitch Meyer goes first to third.
Moose does a good job driving this ball to right field, and Montiel got a little bit too close to it and just had to really be careful not to let this ball get by him. So he used his body to block it and keep it in front of him, but Mitch Meyer was able to exploit that and go to third base. Good job of base running. I still believe Mitch Meyer is probably the best base runner on this ball club.
Which doesn't always mean you're the fastest base runner. This means you're the smartest base runner.
You make the good turns and you do what you need to do. Good reads off the bat.
And a strike to Matt Trainer, who almost leaned into it. Trainer not in the lineup last night. Brian Pena was 0 for 3 with an RBI and was the victim twice of a very good defensive play. Zambrano was able to get out of the first inning with a ground ball double play from Billy Butler. And trying to pitch Trainer down. He missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, just trying to get that ground ball if he can get it. And He knows if he gets it on the ground, he's got a good chance for a double play. And Matt's got to make him get the ball up and try to get something to the outfield.
One and two. Let's take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And I've been asking for this for a while. The largest differential between on-base percentage and batting average in the major leagues. And Matt Trainer is third. But it's the largest differential with the lowest batting average, if you will. A .214 batting average, a .357 on base percentage, and Zambrano once again gets out of the inning with a ground ball double play. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by 5-Hour Energy, fixes tired fast. One shot, back to work. Problem solved. So there you go. Kevin Apier's first and most recent Royals uniform in the Royals Hall of Fame. They did not allow him to put his coat and tie in the Hall of Fame, however, but we're going to put him on television because he looks so good. Congratulations,
Thank
Dave.
you. Thank you.
For sure, for sure.
Thanks, Frank.
That's great. So, how was it down there?
It was pretty cool. You know, I first walked out there, all the girls in my family were crying. So it's like, it was very emotional. But it was very flattering. I didn't even expect the video at all. That was amazing. Everybody would talk like that. So don't get used to the suit thing.
Yeah.
They could probably put it in the Hall of Fame. I don't know when the next time I'll wear one is.
Well, we're talking about your pose, you know, your pitching form. I mean, your arm, I mean, you almost touch the ground with your hand sometimes. You reach back so far. And that back leg, you know, was that the old drop and drive approach right there from the pitcher?
To the extreme, huh?
To the extreme, yes.
I know. Bruce Keese used to go, can't you just stand up a little bit more? I could, but then I wouldn't throw nearly as good. So I tried to be conventional. You know, those attempts didn't work out. So, but they learned to tolerate me.
Here's the delivery we are talking about.
Man, that's reaching back right there. I mean, that's putting everything in every pitch.
Definitely. And, you know, I talked about that during the press conference today. You know, some guys could go on cruise control for a bit, but I didn't have the kind of stuff to do that. I had to go all out every pitch. I think that did shorten my career a little bit, but, you know, I'd much rather have that than question whether I gave up a hit or a run or something because I was doing that cruise control.
Well, I was always under the impression that you didn't want the hitter to touch the ball at all.
Oh, I didn't mind him touching as long as it for sure went to somebody, you know? It's like, but after, you know, bleeders and ground balls through the middle and you know, but an out was an out, definitely. I was just, As long as they didn't hit it hard and they hit it to somebody. That's what it was.
Where did your intensity come from? I mean, you just seem so intense on the mound. You know, in a control, but
right.
I mean, just being very aggressive, very mentally tough. When when every hitter came up there, you just went right after that one hitter.
Yeah, I mean, I just always felt that was how you played the game, viciously. And my plan was to go as hard as I could for as long as I could. And, if that got me through that whole game or however long it got me through my career, then that's what it was. I had a pretty long career, considering not like yours. But
pretty close, though. When you get into double digits, that's a long career.
Wow, that's impressive. And especially, how long you play on that turf. And we were just talking about that over on the other side, just how baking it was when the turf was down there. Yeah, that was amazing. You guys handled that. Because I used to try to stay on the dirt. You remember? I mean, you guys be throwing the ball around, and I'd just be doing circles on the dirt because I didn't want to go on the turf because it was hot.
When you got just that Sunday afternoon, that's the day we worried about it for the most part. But I just looking at you when you first came up, you saw the intensity right away. It just wasn't a situation where here's a rookie guy who is learning how to compete. I mean, you were competing right from day one.
Well, definitely. I mean, I was fairly young when I came up, and I wasn't great. I didn't have great knowledge of baseball, but that's what I had. I had intensity, and you guys were extremely helpful. Think about the veteran team that I came up to. You and George and Willie, and you couldn't have had a better circumstance to come up than I did.
Abe, who taught you the slider? What's the evolution of that trademark pitch of yours?
I was taught that in a guy taught me the grip in college, but it was really just, I kind of describe people as trying to open the door, the doorknob, while trying to tear it out of the door. That's how I kind of, that's how I threw my slider.
Open the doorknob, trying to tear it out of the doorknob.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's how a lot of hitters probably felt, trying to hit that slider.
A lot of people mistaked it for a split finger, but I never, told them the difference. I go, really, split, whatever.
Whatever they want to think, that's fine. But I could just look at your delivery and playing behind you and just seeing the deception, because you came from so far with it, and the deception on the slider and the fastball, you really couldn't tell the difference when it first came out of your hand.
That was really important for me, that deception. And like I'd be a slow thrower compared to some of the guys you see now. It's ridiculous. But with the deception, people thought I threw harder, and I was more susceptible to mechanical things, I think, because
Castro with a base hit to left field, even though Danny Duffy shattered his bat, so 2 on, 1 out.
Well, I needed to, hide the ball, a lot from hitters, and so if my shoulder or something leaked out, then it would expose and people pick up the ball, and I'd pretty much know it right away.
Now, how could you tell? I mean, because you really took that lead arm and you put it way out front, and then you swung it across, and then you came. So it was hard for you to open up too fast, wasn't it?
Well, that's just the thing. If I was falling off too soon, which obviously I fell off afterwards, but if I fell off too soon and this arm came through too quick, then the ball would be right there, visible to him, and that wasn't good.
No.
And a base hit past the diving Mike Moustakas. They're going to wave Johnson home, and tagged out by Trainer. Another outfield assist, another out at the plate.
That was a great play all around.
We've been watching that all season. That's 29 outfield assists already, and 15 runners out at the plate.
What really made this play amazing, Ape, is that this was a ground ball through the infield. It wasn't a line drive. You see how hard Alex came and how quickly he got rid of his throw. I mean, it's amazing that he was able to throw him out on that ground ball through the infield.
It is, and to see a lot of times when outfielders charge the ball that hard, they have difficulty, coming up clean. But he, like you said, he got rid of it quick, and then the catcher did an awesome job on a short hop and then tag.
Now,
that's one of those things where you're back behind. When you're covering behind home plate, you're just going, oh, please, come on. Pick that ball, get it good.
You see a lot of pitchers now that don't even get back there on base hits. Sometimes they don't get as deep as they should, and the ball kind of rolls around.
On 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. Abe, when guys retire, they say, well, I got to go out and get a real job. But you really do have a real job these days, don't you?
The ranch, it keeps me busy. I keep making it bigger, not hiring anybody. So, and they're not putting any more hours in the day. So I might have to make an adjustment there. But I do real work there, and it is a real ranch. So, but I really like it.
As it was stated so well in the Kansas City Star this morning, a Southern California kid who fell in love with the Midwest and now in the Royals Hall of Fame. And thanks for dropping by. Hope we see you at the ballpark again.
Thank you, Ryan.
More than once every 7 years or so.
Thanks, Frank.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Career that included serving as Director of Corrections for Jackson County. Susan Stanton now serves the Metro as a full-time volunteer. Sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat at tonight's game, she works to improve the lives of children in Kansas City by working with advocacy and outreach programs, including CASA, MOCSA, MOCSA, Operation Breakthrough, and St. James Place. Susan enjoying, like the rest of us, another Royals outfield assist in the top of the 3rd inning. So no score. Chris Getz trying to bunt his way on, but bunted it hard to the first baseman, Carlos Pena. So 1 down in the 3rd. Tomorrow's another family fun day Sunday. It's the final game with the Cubs, the final game of the homestand. Luke Hochaber against Randy Wells. A 1:10 game. There will be face painters, a balloon artist, and much more in the outfield experience before the game. So come on out tomorrow. If you'd like more information, visit Royals.com/Sunday. Alcides Escobar, 0 for 3. He did walk and score a run last night. Cubs in the same division as the Milwaukee Brewers. So Escobar has faced Zambrano 9 times. 1 hit. It was a triple. Otherwise, only the lower third of the batting order has faced Zambrano. Matt Trainer, 5 at-bats. Chris Getz, 6 plate Escobar. And that's lined into right center field, and that's going to roll all the way to the wall. And Escobar, with 1 out, wants 3. LeMahieu's relay comes in late. It hits Escobar. Well, Cetus Escobar has 2 career hits against Zambrano, and both are triples.
It's kind of nice to see him get back to basics, you know, go back to what you've been successful with, and he stays right in there. Nice, easy swing, fastball, middle. He gets it out in the right center field and gets back. It goes all the way to the wall, and he just had no intention of stopping at second base. He goes in, beats the ball just by a little bit.
And the Cubs will bring the infield in with 1 out. And Gerard Dyson. That was not a squeeze. Dyson grounded out to first in the first inning. 4 out of 25 at the plate. On the bases, 9 out of 9 in stolen base attempts.
Your manager to bring the infield in when you're playing a team that's having trouble scoring runs. You try to keep them from scoring as best you can, and that's why you bring the infield in this early in the game.
Well, the Royals on this homestand, they've been a little bit below their norm in on-base percentage, which was .327 when the game began, so a little lower than that during the homestand. But their problem has been runners in scoring position.
Well, Ryan, when you see that low at batting average and runner in scoring position, it just tells you that the guys that are in their lineup are not proficient at driving in runs. You know, when you go back and look over their career and say who in this lineup is used to driving in runs, you don't see a lot of that. So you look at the mental toughness, ability to be patient, get your pitch, and those are the guys that drive in the runs on a regular basis. But that runner in scoring position average, that's pretty low.
Last night, just 1 out of 7. And they had a game in the Arizona series when they were just 1 out of 9. So the runners have been out there.
And what makes it amazing that you don't always have to swing the bat.
Pena was all ready for a play at the plate, but a good read by Escobar. So Dyson gets a bunt single. Pena didn't even consider trying to get Dyson, and really, to think about it, there was no play at first base.
I mean, it's been kind of difficult. I mean, he's got the luxury of seeing Escobar, and they see him break those 3 or 4 steps, and he feels like he's coming all the way. By the time he reaches down and picks his ball up and looks up, he's headed back to third base. And he, in that case there, he lost the play at first base.
Would have been very close if he tried to hook up with LeMahieu running over from second base. So how long will it take for Dyson to run? He doesn't go on the first pitch. And Hosmer pops it up in foul ground. Ramirez and Soto, and Aramis Ramirez makes the play. And Hosmer's frustrating homestand continues. So first and third, 2 outs, and Zambrano will get Billy Butler.
Yeah, those are situations there, Ryan, where you don't really need to hit all the time. You know, you want a fly ball. You want something that's going to. There's different ways to drive and run from third with less than 2 outs without actually getting a base hit, but just having the patience to get your pitch. And I think right now, Haas is getting good pitches to hit, but I think he's just trying to swing a little bit too hard, and that's pulling him off of those balls that he normally would square up.
Dyson started to go, but his wheels spun in the dirt, so decided to hang on at first. 1 ball and no strikes. Billy Butler grounded into a double play in the first inning. Dyson has not been thrown out trying to steal, but right before he was sent back down, he was picked off late in a game. His first move was to second. He tried to get back to first and was picked off. And I remember you and I were talking that, I mean, with his speed, barring a pitch out, his chances are going to be good that he is going to steal, but it was becoming very predictable that he was going to be going on the first pitch.
And I think that's it. When you get predictable, the other team knows they can pitch out, they hold the ball a little bit longer, and they vary their moves to first base.
Zambrano with a slide step, and it's fouled away by Butler.
You know what's really tough when you got a guy like Dyson at first base and you're in the middle of your order? It's kind of hard to ask those guys who you want to drive in those big runs. It's kind of hard to ask him to take a pitch and let him steal in this situation. The bottom of the order you can do that with, but when you got Hosmer, Butler, Francoeur, when he's in the lineup, those guys in the middle there, they're looking for a pitch they can drive in that situation.
Now here, do you want to run? Do you want to risk distracting Billy Butler at the plate? And Billy into shallow right center field. Long run in for Montañez, and he catches up to it. So the Royals go 0 for 2 in the inning with runners in scoring position. Wideband internet pitch speeds. Carlos Zambrano 93, Danny Duffy up to 98. No score at the end of 3. Cubs have had 5 base runners in 3 innings, and they have stranded 4. Royals have had 5 base runners in 3 innings. They have stranded 3. Cubs have turned 2 double plays. 2-0 on Giovanni Soto. Grounded into a force out to end the first inning. Alfonso Soriano and Carlos Pena will follow him. Into left field, but not hard hit. And Alex Gordon makes the play, 1 down. Well, we hope you'll join us for a unique dining experience here at Kauffman Stadium at the 390 Bar and Grill, which features a private bar, 65-inch high-definition TVs, a climate-controlled environment. It is open to the public and located on the third base side of the Loge level next to Section 301, the 390 Bar and Grill. So Danny Duffy has given up some base runners, but he's been pitch efficient so far. Alfonso Soriano lined out to center field against Duffy in the second. And now grounds it to deep short. And Escobar throws him out, 2 down.
It makes it look really easy right here. He looks the ball right into his glove and pulls it up to his throwing position, sets his feet, and just makes a nice strike throw across the diamond to Hosmer at first base.
Had his nice 4-seam grip.
Yeah, almost like he was looking at it when it came out of his hand.
Carlos Pena struck out against Duffy in the second inning. The Royals will stack the right side against Duffy. That was a swing. He was almost hit by a pitch.
Well, getting geared up for that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You just got to guess right. Yeah, this is one that he thought was going to be out over the plate. Oh, my goodness. It's amazing that he probably said, well, I thought I was going to get hit with that pitch. You open your front side up to a fastball like that, you just never know. The little Cub emblem could have been wearing that one.
You mean that cute little cubby?
The little cubby.
And Chris Getz, who is very deep on the right side, so a little longer throw for him. That's a 7-pitch fourth inning for Duffy. Fourth inning in a scoreless tie. We remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in tonight's game. And Alex turned in a great moment once again on defense as the Royals threw out another runner at the base, at home plate that is, back in the top of the third inning. 29th assist of the year from the outfield, the 15th runner thrown out at the plate.
And he just charges this ball very well and just gets rid of it so quick. And I think that's the amazing thing about the transition that Alex Gordon to the outfield is that he's got good hands, he's got good feet, and he's able to get rid of the ball. And that may become because of all the work at third base that he used to do. And I think you pointed out earlier, he's so used to throwing accurately to first base that that's just a natural thing that he does in the outfield.
That's what happened to Martin when he moved to the outfield. And in his first season, he tied the Royals record for most outfield assists. And I think it was Rusty Kuntz, who was outfield coach at the time, maybe not. But whoever it was said just that the reason he was so accurate is because on the infield, he's used to throwing to a smaller target as opposed to some outfielders that just kind of throw to an area. And as a result, he was so accurate, whether he was hitting the cutoff man or throwing to a base on the fly. Zambrano's second walk. The leadoff man on in the bottom of the fourth inning. This July, baseball's biggest stars will gather together in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2011 Major League All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix at 7 p.m. only on Fox. To Mitch Meyer on with an infield single in the second inning.
Well, Mitch is a big guy, but he's pretty versatile. I mean, he can bunt if he has to bunt. He can hit and run with him. There's a lot of things you can do with him that you don't really even though he's a big guy, you don't see him driving the ball out of the ballpark with any regularity. So, but he's athletic enough that you can ask him to do a lot of different things on the field.
He is hitting .333 as a part-time player. Ed Yost had mentioned before the game tonight that he would like to play Mitch Meyer more. It's not like he's trying to bury him on the bench, but his three regulars are playing so well that it's just becoming difficult for Ned to get him in there. But it must feel good as a manager to know that Mitch doesn't have to play that much to stay as sharp as he's been.
Well, he's had a couple of years to get used to that role, and I think that's where it really pays off for him.
Didn't quite get it to the hole on the left side as the Royals were trying a hit and run. And Ramirez at third throws him out, but Alex does move up. And a runner at second with one out.
Well, this is what he can do. He can put the bat on the ball when he has to, and like you said, didn't sting it as well. Ramirez was playing way off the line at third base and took that hole away.
Royals so far tonight, 1 out of 4 with runners in scoring position, but that one hit was a bunt single by Dyson, so it did not produce a run. Fouled away by Mike Moustakas. Well, Royals tailgaters become a parking lot legend by entering the Ultimate Royals Tailgate Sweepstakes. Lucky winner will be selected each month and receive a tailgate for up to 30 catered by Jack Stack Barbecue, Royals game tickets for the entire group, and much, much more. You must enter by June 30th. Popped up, and Ramirez to the railing and made a great play. He didn't have another inch to work with, but got as far over the railing as he could, and there are 2 down.
Sometimes it's good to be tall and rangy. He reached as far as he could, got right on in the webbing of the glove, and brought it back to the field of play. We've seen some defense in these first 2 games so far. He was just probably one more lunge from being hit over heels into the camera bay.
He almost knocked over a very expensive camera. And now strike to Matt Trainer. He batted with runners at first and third in the second inning, and Zambrano got him on a ground ball double play. No score in the bottom of the 4th. And a slider is in there, 0-2.
That's a real quick breaking slider here, Ryan. He threw it toward the inner half, and it broke late, and Matt Trainer held up on it.
One ball, 2 strikes. And that pitch got away from Zambrano. Saved by Soto, 2-2. Carlos Zambrano is only 30 years old. This is his 11th year in the big leagues. Made his big league debut in 01. And down goes Trainer and the Royals. So they leave another runner in scoring position. Network, broadcasting to U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. And for those of you watching tonight, we say welcome to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Danny Duffy with 4 scoreless innings so far, and his pitch count has not been an issue.
He looks good. I mean, he's done a better job of getting the ball down and getting some early pitches in there and getting them in play early. And I think that's really playing well for him. And maybe you go out there with that don't care attitude sometimes, you know, where you're not trying to impress. You basically just going out there saying, look, this is what I've got. Here it is. And hope it's good enough.
And so far it has been 1 strikeout. So it hasn't been a big strikeout game for him. And strikeouts are fun. I don't know if there's a better statistic for a pitcher, a more empowering statistic, but oftentimes big strikeout pitchers will throw a lot of pitches. And that pitch got Montañez on the foot. The leadoff man on for the Cubs in the top of the 5th. Our Sprint You Call It question for tonight with Kevin Napier going into the Royals Hall of Fame. Who do you believe will be the next position player inducted into the Royals Hall of Fame? 44% going with Royals batting coach Kevin Seitzer. Fouled away by DJ LeMahieu. Grounded out to second in the 3rd inning. 2 hits and a run scored in last night's game. And one of those hits coming in the 2-run 9th and coming around to score. Grounds it to Chris Getz. Had a tough time getting it out of his glove, but the Royals still turn a double play.
One thing that Chris did well on that play, he didn't have a good grip on it. He kept his feet moving in the direction he wanted to make that throw to Escobar. If he just doesn't keep moving, he may mishandle this. But he just kept his body going and did a good job just forcing that play right in the Escobar's basket, and he makes a nice throw to Hop. If you see how he keeps his feet moving, just keep going. You know, a lot of time you don't get that good grip, so there's a tendency to want to panic a little bit. But he just kept his poise and got a nice throw to Escobar, and they turned that double play.
And now ball 1 on Reed Johnson. Singled and then was thrown out at the plate by Alex Gordon in the 3rd inning. Johnson is 1 for 2 tonight. Base hit into left field, so he has 2 hits. Danny Duffy has not had more than 16 pitches in an inning. In the 4th, he only needed 7 pitches, so he's throwing strikes. Only at 54 now with 2 outs in the 5th. If you combine his starts at AAA and the big leagues this year, 14 before tonight, and he has not gone past 6 innings. Starlin Castro walked in the 1st, singled in the 3rd. Gives him 4 hits in this series and 103 on the year. Two and 0.
One of the few times you see Danny Duffy throw back-to-back curveballs, and that shows that, you know, his confidence is growing and throwing his secondary pitches. And good hitters, you have to be able to do that. You just can't continue to try to pump that fastball in there.
Johnson has only attempted 1 stolen base, and he was thrown out. In his first 7 starts, Danny Duffy gave up more than 3 earned runs only once. Threw that fastball right by Castro, 2-1. That was against Toronto. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings. Otherwise, 3 earned runs or less in every start. The fewest walks he's allowed is 1. He's done that twice, and he has only 1 walk tonight. Right center field, well hit. Long run for Dyson, but he outruns the ball and makes the catch. 5 scoreless innings for Danny Duffy. Fifth inning, and we'll take a look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. It has to do with assist. Who are the 3 former Royals to lead the American League in outfield assists in a single season? Chris Getz, Alcides Escobar, Gerard Dyson in the bottom of the 5th. Getz tried to bunt his way on in the 3rd, but bunted hard to Pena at first, who went to the bag for the out. And quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on Getz, a former White Sox player, so he saw Zambrano in interleague play. 2 out of 6 with a walk and a couple of doubles against Zambrano, and pulled that one just foul outside of first base. One ball, 2 strikes. Chris Getz entered tonight with a .400 batting average in his previous 8 games. Castro gets a nice big hop and throws out Getz. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. And Kauffman Stadium is always a beautiful sight, but a little prettier when it's packed like it is tonight.
I said it looks good and sounds good. You always got that constant buzz, you know, the crowd buzz that you like to hear when you're on the field.
No balls, 2 strikes on Alcides Escobar. Just under 33,000 here for last night's game, and I would say significantly more here tonight. Very few sections of empty seats. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ Little Timmy McGinnis. One and two. Escobar tripled in the third inning. He is 2 for 10 against Zambrano. Both hits are triples. He won't get a triple this time, but it's just beyond the reach of LeMahieu, and he'll settle for a 1-out single. So Escobar is 2 for 2 tonight.
That's amazing that you look at him last night and you say, wow, he may be slipping back on some of the old habits, but tonight he goes back to forcing the ball to the right side and has been able to get himself 2 base hits.
Boy, he should have, retrospect, maybe he should have made a move towards second base. Carlos Pena standing right in his way.
Just sort of run into him.
Yeah, a little obstruction. Maybe pretend like he trips and falls on the base pass.
Maybe on that one, the umpire would say, you didn't have a chance anyway.
Come burning around first. Yeah. Run into Pena. See, he hadn't been going hard though around first base.
Yeah, what you don't want to do as a base runner is you don't want that defender to force you to go a route you don't want to go. So I agree. He could have easily bumped him right there. If then nothing else, it would have scared Pena a little bit.
So we know he can play shortstop. We know he has the ability to hit. Now we just want to see what kind of an actor he is. Gerard Dyson has a bunt single and a ground out. His bunt single is the only hit the Royals have tonight with a runner in scoring position, but it did not produce a run. So the Royals 1 out of 6 with men in scoring position against Zambrano. 2 balls and no strikes on Dyson.
Yeah, he was swinging the bat pretty good down in Omaha before he got called up. 288, and he had scored 27 runs in 104 at bats, and 14 out of 16 still attempt.
Gone for exactly a month. Sent down on May the 19th. Called back up on June the 19th. I asked him before the game, did you work on anything specifically when he went down? He said, thought about it, and he says, well, I worked on seeing more pitches. I worked on hitting the ball more on the ground. I worked on taking more walks. I worked on having fewer strikeouts. So it ended up being a pretty long list of things that he worked on. Of course, he wasn't playing a whole lot when he was here, so he probably had to shake off a little bit of rust when he got to Omaha.
I was just thinking right before you started talking about those things that if Escobar can get with Seitzer and change his swing, and not so much his swing, but at least his approach and his thought process, can a guy like Gerard Dyson do the same thing? Where he's forcing more balls to the shortstop side of the field on the ground and trying to use his legs a little bit more, not taking the real big swing.
He laid off a close pitch there. Zambrano looking in at home plate umpire Eric Cooper. Fox Tracks said it was outside. So we'll see how much confidence Ned Yost has in Dyson making contact if it's a strike, and will he send Alcides Escobar? Not running, and Dyson takes ball 4. Well, I'm going to suggest Jermaine Dye is one of the answers for our AT&T trivia question tonight. Name the 3 former Royals who have led the American League in outfield assists in a single season. One from the 70s, one from the 80s, one from the 90s.
Yeah, I'll take Al Collins, probably 77. That would be a wrong guess.
Yep.
So it'd have to be someone that is not so prominent, probably. I know the 69 team holds the all-time assist record in Royals history.
Hosmer picked a good spot for his first hit of the series. Escobar waved home. He's around the tag. Hosmer gets an RBI and the Royals lead 1-0.
It's always a great job of hitting, and Escobar made a great slide to get around Soto at the plate. When that ball was released from right field by Martinez, you thought this play was going to be a lot closer than it was, but Escobar was flying by home plate. I mean, there was no let up in that slide at all. And Hosmer gets a hard hit ground ball to right. Martinez gets a nice throw to the plate. Soto's got the plate blocked. That's amazing. That's why he did it with his foot first slide. I mean, he went right over the shoe top, right over the heel of Soto at the plate. And he just went flying by there.
He was kind of hobbling to the dugout, so Nick Kenny checking him out right away. Good decision on the part of third base coach Eddie Rodriguez. Montañez really didn't charge that aggressively. He kind of stayed back and waited for the ball to get to him, and it was an accurate throw, Frank, but it wasn't a long throw. There wasn't a whole lot behind it.
Well, you're right, and you see in that slide right there, Escobar went right over Soto, but his heel landed first on the plate before the front of his foot did, and I think that's where the little discomfort comes. That spike is digging into that rubber plate, and it's not going to slide over. You see how he hits right there, and he just. What a great slide. I mean, he had nowhere to go, and he went right over the top of that hill.
And there's a base hit to left field and an automatic run. Soriano just throwing it to the cutoff man, knowing he had no chance to get Dyson. So 2 hits with runners in scoring position in this inning, and the Royals lead 2-0.
Well, the Royals are doing a good job right here, Ryan. I tell you, they had some tough times early, but they're definitely capitalizing right now. With Dyson on second base, you're not going to have many plays at the plate. And Billy just forces his fastball right in the 6-hole. Soriano comes up, gets rid of it best he can, but not enough for Gerard Dyson.
Billy has hit in 6 in a row. Now you can say one thing about Cubs fans, Frank. They will give credit where credit is due. There's a Cubs fan emphatically saying safe. You would think he would want Escobar to be out.
I think he forgot.
Well, you never know who's watching.
Someone will give him a phone call.
If he wants to be an umpire someday, you know, sometimes you have to leave your loyalties at the entrance gate and just call the play correctly, and that fan did.
Unless he's a fan of both teams.
And a soft liner drops into right. Hosmer had to make sure it would fall. So Alex Gordon now has a 12-game hitting streak, 2 runs home, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Zambrano's got to be wondering, I'm making good pitches, I'm giving up base hits, and this ball got up around the trademark, and Alex just forces his ball with his strength, forces his ball out in the right field. Zambrano said, hey, I made a good pitch, but I tell you, that's enough bat and enough strength from Alex Gordon to get this ball out to the right field for a base hit.
So they're loaded up for Mitch Meyer, and he's after the first pitch. The scouting report, among other things, for Carlos Zambrano is that most of the time he will have 1 bad inning. And it's just a matter of how bad it will be when he beat the White Sox on Monday, his bad inning was a 3-run first, but the White Sox didn't score again. No balls and 2 strikes on Mitch Meyer, and oftentimes he is just fine, if not very good, before that bad inning, and just fine or very good after that bad inning.
Well, just be emotionally just trying to get through the bad inning.
26 pitches in this inning, 1 and 2 on Meyer. The Royals with no runs, 4 hits in the first 4 innings, and now 2 runs on 4 hits in this inning. Broken bat, soft liner, everybody going back home. So there are only 2 down. All right, Frank, one last shot.
I'll say Amos Soda's shot in the dark.
I'm going to say Jermaine Dye.
And what's the other deck?
So we're missing an 80s.
Beltran. No, no, that's not the 80s. Okay.
Willie Wilson.
Gold Glove year. Dang gone.
Speaking of somebody who's going to be getting a phone call.
Sorry,
Well, a surprise if Mr. Wilson's name doesn't pop up on your cell phone and ask you where the love is.
I'll check it here in a second.
2-0 on Mike Moustakas. He is singled and fouled out to third. Royals were 1 out of 6 with runners in scoring position tonight before this inning. Now they're 3 out of 4 with runners in scoring position. 2 balls and 1 strike on Moustakas. Pitches this inning and 93 in the game. Popped up right side. Pena goes into foul ground and he makes the catch. The Royals get 2 in the bottom of the 5th for a 2-0 lead. And they are right out of the oven. Eric Hosmer driving in the Royals' first run. That's his first hit of the series, just his second hit of the homestand. Now Alcides Escobar getting around the tag. And then Billy Butler with a base hit to left field. And Gerard Dyson scoring easily. And the Royals coming up with 2 runs on 4 hits against Carlos Zambrano in the bottom of the 5th inning. Meanwhile, Danny Duffy, no runs, 5 hits at the end of 5. We'll get the middle of the order in the 6th, beginning with Jeff Baker. And a great pitch over the outside for strike 1. That is the 59th pitch for Danny Duffy. Now you have to digest this. In his 4 starts of going at least 5 innings before tonight, he averages 87 pitches after 5 innings. Tonight, 58 pitches after 5 innings.
Well, we're all happy about that. I mean, I'm sure he's happy about that. But I just really been impressed with the speed of his curveball. I mean, a little less velocity, but a lot more depth and more in the strike zone.
Those strikeouts for him tonight have come on the curveball. And when I say both, only 2. So that's also kept his pitch count down.
And then in this case right here, you're talking about back-to-back curveballs, and that's something that he hadn't been doing so far this season. But he just seems a lot more confident in it tonight and not overthrowing it. It's not bouncing. It's in a great spot going down below the bat.
Ramirez deep to left field. Alex into the corner, jumping up against the wall, and it's a home run for Ramirez. Denny Matthews, from the first year I came to the Royals, referred to the left field corner as the Bermuda Triangle. You never know what's going to happen. If a ball's going to straighten out, will it hook? Will it carry? Will it be knocked down? And it seemed to hang up in the air forever, but landed on the wrong side of the fence.
Well, you're right, Ryan. This is like 3 straight curveballs in a row, and up here, you just can't hardly get away with that, especially when it's up in middle end to a guy that can pull and drive the ball. But you're right, in that corner, most times when it's high enough, it's going to go back toward the playing field.
This goes to show you, too, the danger of leaving an off-speed pitch up, because that was a hitter fooled. He was reaching. I mean, that was not your best balanced swing you're going to see from Aramis Ramirez.
Well, the pitch stayed up, and the pitch was coming into his swing.
Now, that was a healthy swing. And just like that, the Cubs tie the game with back-to-back home runs in the 6th inning.
Well, he's still talking again off speed. He went away from his fastball totally this inning, and you got to change. This is to Ramirez. He was out front of it a little bit, but the ball was coming into him, and he was able to pop it right at the end of his swing. And here we look at Soto, the same off-speed pitch here, down in middle end to his swing, and he drove it into the left field bullpen. So the thing is, Ryan, you got to mix these pitches up. You can't go completely away from your fastball, because these guys have been around a while. They can figure these things out. So don't fall in love with your pitches. Still mix it up. Still mix that fastball in there.
Well, this is 3rd time through for the Cubs, and here's what they've done so far: a single to left, a fly out to deep center field, a strikeout, and now back-to-back home runs. So 4 out of 5 either getting a good swing or a good result. And now Duffy, that was probably a pitch out of frustration, and ball 1 to Alfonso Soriano.
Well, veteran hitters eliminate pitches, and they look for patterns all the time. And he went with 3 consecutive curveballs and got hurt on the 3rd one, and then he came right back to Soto with another off-speed pitch. So that tells me that they probably eliminated his fastball and were looking off speed because he didn't mix the fastball in there at all.
Just missed. Got the pitch before, and if you look at Fox Tracks, they're almost identical pitches, according to Fox Tracks. Soriano is lined to center, grounded out to short.
When you look at those 2 back-to-back home runs, and you look at the amount of work the Ross put into getting their 2 runs, it doesn't seem quite fair.
And overpowers Soriano with 95 miles an hour, 2-2. A line drive into left center field that drops in front of Dyson. So another good swing for the Cubs. Runner at first with 1 out. Don't forget, you can secure your seat to the 2012 All-Star Game with season tickets. And when you buy 2 season tickets, you get 2 free, starting at just $7 per game. That's a great deal. For details or to buy those tickets, call 816-504-4040 or visit Royals.com. Great night to be at the ballpark tonight. Starting to feel like summer again, even though we enjoyed that cooler weather. Big crowd.
Great week.
Close game. A strike to Carlos Pena. 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Grounded against. Escobar was right at the bag as he was guarding the middle. Royals turn their second double play. The Cubs tie it with back-to-back solo home runs.
Sonic slam inning, and our contestant is Andy Hampton from Oak Grove, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Andy, we will give you $3,100. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Andy, you will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
So what you just said was that if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Sonic and the Royals will give Andy $25,000. But you said if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, you will give him $3,100.
I said we.
We. So you're dragging me into this thing.
Hey, we could be a lot of people.
I hope it is.
Well, we're looking for a bailout.
That's the way we do things these days. At Trainer, Chris Getz, and Alcides Escobar. Trainer has grounded into a double play and struck out. Breaking ball stayed up, and it has popped up. Long run for Montañez and Pena, and they arrive late. So Trainer is still alive. Nobody needed to be rescued from behind the tarp. Royals just scored 2 runs on 4 hits in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Cubs came right back with back-to-back solo home runs to tie it. And Zambrano strikes out Trainer. Only 2 strikeouts for Zambrano, but both against Matt Trainer. The 4 greatest moments in Major League All-Star Game history are going head-to-head to determine which is the most memorable of all time. Go to MLB.com/memories and vote now for your favorite. And tune in to the All-Star Game Tuesday, June the 12th to see who won. From 16 to 8 down to 4. Chris Getz rolls out to short. He's 0 for 3. So the form chart stays true for Carlos Zambrano. He is usually on the hook for 1 bad inning when he starts. And his 1 bad inning was only a 2-run 5th, but held the Royals scoreless for 4. And after facing 8 batters in the 5th, 2 up, 2 down on 5 pitches here in the 6th.
Well, you can see Zambrano motioning to LeMahieu at second base. I want you more in the hole. You know, he really didn't like that slow roller that Escobar hit the inning before when he got his last base hit. He didn't like that ball becoming a base hit, so he said, give him the middle, but take that hole between first and second away.
Popped up. LeMahieu and Montañez, and it's LeMahieu in foul ground, and Zambrano comes back with an 8-pitch 6th inning. And it is a good night for a Pepsi Max on a hot, humid night in Kansas City. Pepsi Max is the official soft drink of the Royals and the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth. You'll never sacrifice taste for 0 calories again. Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Lou Montañez, DJ LeMahieu, and Reed Johnson. Danny Duffy trying to bounce back. Gave up back-to-back home runs to Aramis Ramirez and Giovanni Soto in the 6th inning. That was after a strikeout, so he got the first out, striking out Jeff Baker. And now he's 0-2 against Montañez, who has been hit by a pitch and grounded out to second base. Danny Duffy with 74 pitches in 6+ innings. Got away from him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trying to go over 6 innings for the first time this year. AAA and the big leagues combined. And that stayed up 2-2. He will get every chance to get through this inning as nobody is warming up behind him in the bullpen. And from 0-2 to 3-2. snapped his bat. Long throw for Escobar, and that's a career high 6 1/3 innings for Danny Duffy. Remember, you can stay connected to the Royals on Twitter by following @Royals. For breaking news, instant game discussion, and special discounts, there's no better place. Follow @Royals today. Jeff Francoeur standing next to manager Ned Yost. Francoeur getting the night off. Mitch Meyer is in right field. Francoeur would have been a good guy to talk to as the Royals were getting ready for Carlos Zambrano. Francoeur with 25 career at-bats against Zambrano. The next closest on the roster is 9 at-bats. And if he was available tonight, Jason Kendall would have been a valuable resource. He has 39 at-bats against Zambrano. Slice to right, and Meyer has to play it on a bounce, and because of the spin, it takes him into foul territory, and he makes a strong throw back to the infield. DJ LeMahieu is 1 for 3.
Yeah, Mitch did a good job not letting his ball get by, and Duffy threw 3 straight fastballs here and got them to the inside, and LeMahieu cut it out of there and down in line. But Mitch did a good job just keeping it from getting down in the corner.
And now some work for Greg Holland in the Royals bullpen as Reed Johnson comes to the plate. 2 out of 3. Johnson stands right on the plate, so it's very difficult to pitch him inside. Oftentimes, if you miss inside, Johnson will go to first base. He has been hit by a pitch 21 times in a season and 20 times in a season.
Well, I don't think you want to stand there and get hit by 96-mile-an-hour fastballs too often, because you could miss that elbow and wear one in the back, and that's not too much fun right there. And a lot of pitchers, if you get a reputation for sticking that elbow out there, that's what they'll do. They'll just bury you right in there and see how bad you really want to get on base.
LeMahieu has not attempted a stolen base yet this year. Balls and no strikes on Reed Johnson. Royals have seen quite a bit of him when he was playing with the Blue Jays, then to the Cubs, played for the Dodgers last year, and then back to the Cubs. Backing out of play. Somebody once described Reed Johnson to me as a 5 skill player. We know about 5 tool players, which means in potential each of the 5 tools is above average. But when Reed Johnson was with the Blue Jays, they said he really didn't have one skill that was above average, but he did all 5 of them well, and thus the 5 skill player.
Well, that makes it pretty valuable. Like, you can play a lot of different positions, and you can be used to do a few things at the plate also. So you got ways to get on base and ways to help you on defense.
Chance for 2. Tough feed for Escobar. And the slide by LeMahieu breaks up the double play. But the Royals get the lead runner, and there are 2 outs.
Well, once you pass second base, once you get in there deep enough, you got to try to force the ball back to the right shoulder for Chris Getz. And once it goes inside like that, then Chris has got to do a little bit better job right now of saying, okay, I'm just going to get 1 out. So just, really just clear the lane and don't make contact with the base runner in that situation. Just get 1 and get out of the way. Now, if you get it to that right shoulder, then he can probably, get some momentum and get it back over to first. But when it goes inside and the runner's inside, then you just got to get one to clear out.
Strike on Starlin Castro. Danny Duffy now with a career high 6 2/3 innings. 7 innings sounds a lot better.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, this is really a good statement game for Danny Duffy to this point. I mean, he's come out and shown that he will throw his breaking ball. He will back it up. And sometimes maybe just getting into too much of a pattern with the curveball and the fastball, but just get a little bit better mix. He's gone away, sound like 4 straight curveballs in a row. Then he comes right back with 4 straight fastballs in a row. So just kind of knowing 1 and 2, knowing when to bounce that curveball, try to go for the strikeout, then go back to your fastball when it's 2 and 2.
Johnson runs, Trainer's throw, and gets with a great deke. Johnson may have had a shot, even though Dyson was on it pretty quickly, but I think Johnson picked up Getz before he picked up the ball, and Getz was acting as though he had the ball.
Well, you're right, Ryan. I tell you what, when you don't look in there to see what goes on with that baseball, you can get deep real easy at second base, and I don't think it takes that much to really take a quick peek in. But he never looked in, so all he's got to go by is what he sees in front of him, and that's Chris Getz and the way he's reacting. So he made a good deke once, acting like he had it, coming back. But Dyson also did a great job getting in there, backing up that throw.
1-1 on Castro, who was singled, flied out to deep center, and walked. He has an 8-game hitting streak. And over his last 16 games, including tonight, he's hitting .440. And Duffy's ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Very good game tonight as far as pitch efficiency. He has not had a 20-pitch inning.
Well, he's got a good poker face, too. I mean, his mound presence is real good. You never really know what he's thinking out there. So if he's feeling any pressure, you won't be able to tell it by looking at his face.
Still 1-2. Well, I mentioned it earlier, and the move hasn't been made. But it looks like a strong possibility that Danny Duffy will go back to AAA when Kyle Davies comes off the disabled list. Maybe not. So he knew going to the mound that this could be a lasting impression on the coaching staff before he goes back to AAA, good or bad. And so far it's been very good.
Well, I think anytime you're a utility player, you're playing for someone that's hurt, you come up for a spot start, whatever it may be, your job while you're here or while you're on that field is to put some doubt in somebody's mind that, hey, this guy probably belongs here. And I think that's what he's doing tonight with this game tonight. A good statement game. I think I can make the adjustments at this level. But if I do have to go back, then I know exactly what I need to do to be successful when I come back.
Blocked by Getz and in time for the out. And that's a career high 7 innings for Danny Duffy. Top of the order coming up. All have hits. Gerard Dyson a bunt single. Hosmer an RBI single. And the same for Billy Butler. of tourism. Welcome to Chalmette Vineyards and Winery in St. Genevieve. Founded in 1990, the winery sits amid magnificent rolling hills. 310 acres of land, 30 acres of which are grapevines. Approximately 70 miles south of St. Louis. Sample the award-winning handcrafted wines while enjoying the views. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. So Danny Duffy, 7 innings, 2 runs, 9 hits. He is at 91 pitches, so we might see him in the 8th. Carlos Zambrano, on the other hand, at 101 pitches. And ball 1 to Gerard Dyson. Dyson has a bunt single and a walk. He has scored a run. 1 ball, 1 strike. And now bunting, and Pena running to the line, and he got Dyson.
That bunt there is just a little bit too hard and a little bit too close to first base. You want to get it out and make it a contest between the pitcher and the second baseman. But anytime you go right down the line like that, and a guy that plays as well as Pena does at first base, and he's able to make that adjustment.
One to Eric Hosmer. A walk and a foul out in his first 2 plate appearances. That made him 1 for 19 on the homestand. But then a sharply hit RBI single in the 5th, driving in the Royals' first run. So that must feel a lot better. And that ball's hit good to center field. And it will be caught by Johnson. So a positive sign as Hosmer gets another good swing. And there are 2 down. A sellout at Hawkins Stadium tonight. Not a big surprise, I'm sure, as you've been seeing shots of the fans gathered here tonight, but 38,744. In fact, the Royals were selling standing room only tickets, but there are good tickets available for tomorrow afternoon's game.
That's a good photo op night, you know, to get a good shot of this place when it's full like this, and it's just something that you could dream about down the road as the team gets better and get itself more in contention. And you see crowds like this on a regular basis.
Luke Hochevar against Randy Wells tomorrow at 1:10. Up the middle, Castro spins, throws, nice play. Zambrano gives the Cubs 7. To Chicago, if not for our Miller Lite taste greatness moment.
Well, it goes back to Alex Gordon in that he did a great job, Ryan, on this base hit the left field right here. He charging the ball real hard, fields it cleanly, and makes a nice throw to Matt Trainer. The plate made a nice adjustment to tag out Reed Johnson at the plate.
Tagged him twice. Got him on the knee and on the waist. 12 outfield assists for Alex Gordon to lead the major leagues in his first full season in the outfield. A Chevy call to the bullpen, so it's Greg Holland. After 7 very good innings from Danny Duffy, a career high 7 in the big leagues, a season high if you also add what he did at AAA. A 1.15 ERA for Danny Duffy, 21 strikeouts in 15 2/3 innings. And the Cubs will make a move as well. Kosuke Fukudome, a left-hand hitter, will bat in place of Jeff Baker. Fukudome led off, played in center field last night, and was 1 for 5. His biggest contribution was not a hit, but it was a ground ball hit to Chris Getz with 1 out in the 9th inning, which could have resulted in an inning-ending double play, but the ball took a tricky hop on Getz, got past him. A run scored to put the Cubs in front by 1. They added another run and won 6-4. Matt Trainer, and it's 2-1 on Fukudome. Off the plate and foul.
Greg Holland was asked about the difference between last year and this year, and he said it's really simple, just getting ahead of hitters. When you get ahead of hitters, it makes your pitches a lot better.
Lifted to right field, and Mitch Meyer runs it down in the corner. So with 1 out, we'll take a look at the Major League Scoreboard, brought to you by Panera Bread. Games in our division: Chicago, a 4-pitcher shutout over Washington. Cleveland lost, so Chicago moves to 3.5 back. Detroit way out in front of Arizona, so they have a chance for a first-place tie with Cleveland in the Central. All the teams in the Central Division in the American League last night lost, and Minnesota is down big time against Milwaukee, down by 9. Aramis Ramirez, 2 more hits, including his 6th home run tonight. He is 5 out of 7. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, one thing about Ramirez, all the hits he's gotten in this series so far have all been balls that have been middle in to down in the zone. And he hasn't had that reach to the other side of the plate and try to put a ball in play the other way.
1-2.
You can tell the difference in the swings right here and the location of the pitch down and away. It looks like he wants something middle in that he can kind of stay compact and maximize his swing on. When you stretch him out to the outer half, you don't seem to get the same type of swing.
Still 1-2. that's lined to right field. So another long run for Meyer, and in about the same spot retires Ramirez where he got Fukudome. So 2 lineouts to right. And now Greg Holland will get Giovanni Soto.
That's line drive here, but Mitch makes this play really easy. I mean, he's really under control, and what looked like a tough play right off the bat, he may look easy in the end.
Soto retired in his first 2 at-bats. So he was 13 for his last 71, but he didn't look like a 13 out of 71 hitter when he homered to left in the 6th inning. Good balanced swing and a line drive home run into the left field bullpen. Gerard Dyson showing off his speed and makes a sliding catch in left center field. It's a scoreless 8th for Greg Holland.
Kauffman all tied up at 2 at Kauffman Stadium. Cubs and Royals after the game on Boulevard Royals Live. Jeff Montgomery and I will be talking about Danny Duffy's game. Career high in innings pitched. We'll break that down. We'll hear from Ned Yost and player reactions. Take your questions at 432-432 space keyword live. And we'll hear more of Kevin Apier's Royals Hall of Fame inductions. That is after the game. Ryan should tell you tomorrow, Jeff Montgomery sat down with Apier, and that was a great interview. You want to see it. I love the fact that he said, how long is this going to take? Monty said 3 minutes, and Apier said, that's it. I was hoping for an hour. That'll be tomorrow, and Boulevard Royals Live coming up next, guys.
It sounds like Ape wants to be at the ballpark.
Yeah. Well, I remember interviewing him. Here's a Chevy call to the bullpen. John Graybo will take over in the bottom of the 8th. And he was always a good interview. But before he would be interviewed for a pregame show, he wanted to know why you wanted to talk to him. Alex pops it up to shallow right field. And Montañez makes the catch. And then he wanted to know what you're going to ask him. And by the time he did the interview, he spent way more time talking before the interview than the actual interview. So with one out, let's take a look at our Chevrolet plays of the game.
Well, 2 guys that haven't played much this year in the game tonight. Mitch Meyer makes 2 nice plays in right field, and Gerard Dyson tops the inning off with a nice sliding catch in left center field.
And at the plate, Mitch Meyer 1 for 3, also had a line out. The Royals were getting ready to make a move. Jeff Francoeur was going to bat for Meyer, so a right-hand bat coming up against a lefty, but Mike Quade is going to make a change. And it'll be Jeff Samardzija coming on to face Francoeur. Tied at 2 with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. be lifted for a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it will be Jeff Francoeur, who homered last night against the Cubs. Jeff Samardzija will take the mound for Chicago. Francoeur 1 for 4 with a home run in the 4th inning, and it was his first home run in over a month. Inside for ball 1.
Well, Frenchie last night, he just picked on him breaking ball. They stayed on the middle inside of the plate and just drove this ball into the left field bleachers. And like you said, Ron, that's been a while.
Good arm, 97 miles an hour. Samardzija out of the University of Notre Dame, where he was all conference in baseball, but he was an All-American in football. All-American wide receiver, 6'5", 225 pounds. So he had a professional future in both sports. The Cubs persuaded him to play baseball. This is his 3rd big league season, 20 games in 09, only 7 games last year. And now he makes his 32nd appearance this year.
Got to have some speed in that body somewhere.
They used to do it years ago, but when the pitchers would condition, there would be a pitching coach that would stand in center field. The pitchers would run to center field, toss the ball to the pitching coach, and the pitching coach, like a quarterback, would heave it towards the line, and the pitcher, to get conditioning in, would have to run it down like a wide receiver running a fly pattern. I would like to see Samardzija do that drill with the Cubs. I bet it's rather graceful.
Right, we did it a lot, and when I was a utility player, I ran with the pitchers every day, and they did that every day in batting practice. So it's a good conditioner, and it allows you to have a little fun at the same time.
Busted bat and a foul ball. Hasn't quite worked out for Samardzija and the Cubs so far. Hoping that he would be a starting pitcher. He has made 5 starts. 3 last year, 2 the year before that. His career ERA before this year was 5.95. Just a little bit over 4 this season. 44 strikeouts in 42 innings. 29 walks in 42 innings.
Well, you get the good and the bad with that situation right there. You know, one of the hardest things to do with guys throw that hard is just trying to get them to back off a little bit for more control, and they want more maximum. And every time they look up there to see that speed pitch and see it's close to 100 miles an hour, they want to get it there. But the good thing is just to back off to where you can control your fastball and keep it in the strike zone on a regular basis.
Playing football at Notre Dame, you know he's not going to be intimidated by big crowds.
Oh, definitely.
Or pressure, for that matter. Francoeur lays off a hard slider and walks with 1 out.
Well, Francoeur's got something growing out of his helmet.
Both sides.
But it must be lucky. I don't want to speculate on what that is.
It's still there. Look at. Mike Moustakas with 1 on, 1 out. We're tied in the bottom of the 8th. Another close game. We were tied after 8 innings last night, and the Cubs got 2 in the 9th. Moustakas singled in the 2nd inning, 1 for 3. Long run for Ramirez, and he runs out of room. Royals scored both of their runs in the 5th inning. Hosmer and Butler with RBI singles. The Cubs came right back in the top of the 6th, and back-to-back home runs from Ramirez and Soto to tie the game. Francoeur is running. Soto down to second on a hop, and Francoeur once again adds to his career high. That's his 11th stolen base. Previous career high was 8.
Well, he gets a real good jump right here, and he just digs it out for second base. And you can see we had 3 or 4 steps before the release, and he just slides right in there. And the good thing about that slide, that front foot connects with the base, and it stays right there. The catcher did a good job picking that ball out of the dirt and keeping it from going into center field. But it's nice to see Frenchie get in and get a walk and get a stolen base.
And Moustakas slices it up the line and foul. Moustakas due to lay into one. 1 for 3 tonight. He is 12 out of 47. And 11 of his 12 hits have been singles. The only extra base hit was his first major league home run in Anaheim and his 5th major league at bat. Wanted to pitch up. Moustakas wouldn't go for it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Trainer is on deck.
Hey, one thing that Moose needs to make sure he doesn't do is just get that front side moving forward too fast. And it looks like he's got some pretty good pitches to hit, but his bat's dragging just a little bit. He needs to stay back and cast his hands out before the body goes forward.
He will walk. So Samardzija, we talked about his strikeouts and his walks. He comes out of the pen to walk Francoeur and Moustakas. And Matt Trainer will be called back for a pinch hitter. It'll be Wilson Bettemy. And the Cubs don't have an answer for that. Nobody is throwing in the bullpen. Similar situation happened last night for the Cubs in the 7th inning. James Russell was called on, a lefty, and he retired the 2 batters that he needed, Melky Cabrera and Eric Hosmer. And then Mike Quade went to the bullpen, and there's Russell warming up now. Quade brought on the hard-throwing Chris Carpenter, very similar to Samardzija. And Carpenter got into trouble walking Billy Butler, walking Alex Gordon. Got Jeff Francoeur to ground out. And in this inning, Bravo got Gordon. And then bringing in the righty, but he's walked 2. And the go-ahead run in scoring position for Wilson Bettemy. Royals tonight are 4 out of 11 with runners in scoring position. And a slider in for strike 1. In his career, a .252 batting average with 4 home runs as a pinch hitter. This year, he is 0 for 1. Outside at 98 miles an hour.
That's one of the lives of a pinch hitter. If you're in the National League, you're going to pinch hit pretty much every night. So that 95 to 90, the 100-mile-an-hour fastball doesn't seem as fast to you when you hit it irregularly as he does. Then it's got to feel like it's like a jet going by.
Down and away, 2-1. And he went with a slider. Bettemy actually had a pretty good swing at it, as if he was expecting that pitch. It's 2-2.
Well, nice hard slider right there. Just had a late break, but it was up, which will definitely benefit the hitter if it stays in that area. But it's just a late break to it, and it looks like a fastball. But Wilson is hitting 360 with runners in scoring position, so that Ned Yost is hoping that plays into this pinch hit.
And now the ball gets away from Soto. So 2 runners are in scoring position. That one could go either way. It got a lot of leather, but it wasn't an easy play for Soto.
Yeah, once catchers get those arms extended to the side, it's kind of hard to squeeze a pitch going that fast. And he got out there, but not an easy pitch to handle.
Wow, pass ball. That's a tough call. And you can make the mistake of making that call on the replay, and it looks a lot easier in slow motion.
I agree with the guys throwing that fast, and he throws a backup slider, you're trying to reach, and all that spin on the ball just comes right out of your glove.
Infield in. And Betemit strikes out. That was not a strike, not even close. So Betemit got himself out. And up comes Chris Getz.
Another slider, too. They tried to get the back door on it, but really just kept sliding away from him. When you overthrow it, it just spins away, kind of back up. It just went away, and Wilson tried to catch it, but way off the plate.
So Russell, the lefty, is ready in the bullpen. And you figure this is the reason why he was warming up, was for Chris Getz. But after the strikeout, Mike Quade is going to stay with Samardzija. The infield is in on the corners. The outfield is in. The outfield is playing as if the winning run, not the go-ahead run, but the winning run was at third base with less than 2 outs.
Well, you're right, Ryan. You can defense Chris Getz in this situation. You're not really worried about him driving the ball over the outfielder's head, so you can come in and really put, just that hard fastball against this soft swing, and you hope you can defense him a lot better than you can another hitter coming in. I mean, he just doesn't try to do too much. He just look at this ball. I mean, this ball is right down the line there, just misses third base.
Same spot almost. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, here's an opportunity for Chris Getz to redeem himself. Remember last night on a tricky hop was charged with an error on what could have been an inning-ending double play in the 9th inning, and the Cubs could have been scoreless, but they ended up with 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes against Samardzija. Fouled away again.
Chris Getz, right, it doesn't matter how hard you throw, he's going to take the same swing. All he wants to do is get the bat into the hitting zone, and he's not trying to drive the ball, just trying to put it in a good spot and use his legs and try to get himself a base hit, and in this case put the Royals ahead in this game.
Grounded, Samardzija off his bare hand. No play at first, and the Royals take the lead.
Well, this is just what you want to see right here. Look, ground ball up the middle, but you got to know where your infielders are. You can't try to make a play like that. You got to trust the infielders right there. Got a very good shortstop playing behind him, and he really cost himself right here.
I think Castro makes that play if it gets past him out.
Yeah, he had an excellent chance of making this play, but sometimes pitchers don't know how to get out of their own. And you just got to look around and see where your middle infielders are playing, and hope that you don't make that mistake when the ball hit up the middle.
Escobar out in front 0-1. So the Royals literally taking what the Cubs gave them. 2 walks, a stolen base, a pass ball, and then Samardzija trying to field it with his bare hand. Joakim Soria getting ready for the top of the 9th inning. Thinking that Getz might take off.
I think if Chris takes off right here, Ron, I think it's just going to be a straight steal. I don't see the double steal coming with Moustakas at third base.
He's running, and Escobar shoots it foul. Royals last night 1 out of 7 with runners in scoring position. Tonight 5 out of 12. And that's after beginning the game 1 for 6. So they just continue to grind away. 2 runs in the 5th, 1 in the 8th. Getz runs, and Escobar is hit by the pitch. And there's a little more concern when he's hit by a pitch, especially around the hands. So Eddie Rodriguez, Ned Yost, Nick Kenny will go out to check on him. And Cubs manager Mike Quade has seen enough. 2 walks and a hit batter, and Samardzija trying to field a ground ball with his bare hand. If Escobar is all right, Royals will have the bases loaded for Jarrod Dyson.
Take a look right on the right forearm.
So it will be Russell to face Dyson. Royals getting a run in the bottom of the 8th inning, and with 1 out, Jeff Francoeur is a pinch hitter walked. He stole second base. Mike Moustakas walked. Then on what was ruled a pass ball, 2 runners move up. With 2 outs, Chris Getz grounds one up the middle. Could have been played by Castro, but the pitcher Jeff Samardzija threw his bare hand out there to deflect it, and Francoeur scores. So Chris Getz, who had that critical error in the 9th inning last night, drives in the go-ahead run in the 8th inning tonight. And the Royals hope they're not done yet, as they have the bases loaded and 2 outs. It'll be Sean Marshall, thinking he was going to face Jarrod Dyson. Marshall appeared last night, and Ned Yost will send Melky Cabrera to the plate. It's actually James Russell on the mound, not Sean Marshall. And it's a strike to Melky Cabrera. Marshall and Russell appeared last night. Russell got the first 2 outs of the 7th inning. Bases loaded, 2 down. And Melky pulls it foul. No balls and 2 strikes. 2 hits for Melky Cabrera last night, a double, a single, an RBI, and a stolen base.
It's probably the most pinch hits we've had in one game all year.
Still 0-2. Melky, one of the best 2-strike hitters the Royals have, especially from the left side. Thought it was a great compliment for Daniel Hudson of the Diamondbacks, who beat the Royals on Thursday night. In his post-game comments, he said at times he felt like the Royals became better hitters when they had 2 strikes. Very deep and very foul. All the way up into the upper deck above the 390 bar and grill. Two. James Russell is the son of Jeff Russell. Pitched a long time in the big leagues between 1983 and 1996 for the Reds, the Rangers, the A's, the Red Sox, the Indians. Cubs drafted him out of the University of Texas. Still alive, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, really hanging in there, fouling off some tough pitches on both sides of the plate. Now, it's that situation here where you just kind of get your body out of things and just try to use your hands and just try to get a pitch, use your hands and try to put the ball in play.
Over the corner. The Royals leave the bases loaded, but they take the lead. It is 3-2 to the bottom of the 9th. Games, but tonight using his bench, 3 pinch hitters in the bottom of the 8th. So Jeff Francoeur goes to right, came on as a pinch hitter. The same for Melky Cabrera, he goes into center. Matt Trainer was pinch hit for, so Brian Pena goes behind the plate, and it's Joaquim Soria. As the Cubs will send up Alfonso Soriano, Carlos Pena, and Lou Montañez. So the Cubs' 2 leading home run hitters will come to the plate. Soriano has 14. He is 1 out of 3 with a single tonight. Fastball right by him. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Soria's done a great job. You know, he's thrown 10 shutout innings in his last 8 outings. So he's just done a good job since he's been reinstated. He's 4-4 in save opportunities.
Greg Holland pitched the 8th. 1-2 on Soriano. Danny Duffy with an excellent night. A career high 7 innings. Gave up 2 runs, 9 hits. Popped up, and that'll be out of play. Royals with 2 in the 5th. The Cubs with 2 in the 6th. So they tied it right away. And then the Royals just scored in the bottom of the 8th on Chris Gett's infield single, getting Jeff Francoeur to the plate. Royals trying to put an end to a 6-game losing streak. They have not lost 7 in a row this year. Got him with a slow curve. MLB.com's At-Bat 11 app for Android, BlackBerry, and Samsung Galaxy tab is live baseball. Follow the Royals wherever you are with game day pitch-by-pitch tracking, in-progress box scores, stats, breaking news, searchable video highlights, and game day audio to listen to every game. Text At-Bat to 31826. Carlos Pena with 1 out. He is 0 for 3. And Soria stays away from him, even though the defense is defending against him to pull. Very good numbers. 4 out of 7 with a home run in the past for Pena against Soria.
You're right. He wants to stay away from the power, and if he's going to get hurt, he wants to get hurt the other way in this situation.
Inside that time, got the corner. 1-1. He didn't show it tonight, but Pena has been swinging well lately. 9 RBIs in his previous 8 games with 5 home runs. Strike, swing or otherwise, Pena wants to know if he went around.
Well, that fastball really tied him up. He was probably looking away for something, and Joaquin just pounded him inside around the hands with that fastball. And you can tell with Carlos Pena, he almost like he guesses a lot, and when he guesses wrong, he doesn't look too good at the plate on the ball on the inner half.
Tried with a slow curveball again, but missed high and away. Royals trying to get back on track here at Kauffman Stadium. They won 15 of their first 22 here this year. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now they have lost 17 of their last 23 at home. Pena wants a fastball away. And it's a fastball in. Lifted to right field. Curving into the corner. Francoeur trying to climb the wall. He didn't get the ball. He got somebody's hat.
Yeah, that was a big miss in location by Joaquin Sawyer right there. That could have cost him right there. So you definitely don't want to, in a 3-2 situation, you don't want to leave that ball middle in. You know, Brian Pena wanted this ball on the outside part of the plate, and you can see where this pitch went. It was just right into the power of Carlos Pena, and he just did get underneath this ball.
He really collapses on that back ankle, doesn't he? I mean, that almost looks painful.
And that makes it hard for him to hit the ball away because you're just selling out to the middle in.
Got him looking, and he knew it.
Just an outstanding pitch here. You know, he's just probably sitting on that slow curveball right in that situation or looking middle in, and the way he collapses on the backside, like you say, Ryan, that fastball away is going to be a pretty tough pitch for him to handle.
Blake DeWitt is going to pinch hit with 2 outs in the ninth. As a pinch hitter in the 7th inning last night, DeWitt grounded into a double play. DeWitt from Sikeston, Missouri. On the corner, 1-1. First time that Soria and DeWitt have hooked up.
It doesn't hurt to get a little bit off the plate right there. When you're consistently in a zone and you got the umpire right with you, you stay with it.
2 balls, 1 strike.
It's kind of amazing. You look at the second pitch in that on clock strikes, and you got that for a strike. If he can come back and sell it again and stay right there, he doesn't have to throw a strike. And he can get out of this inning. That's the fastest pitch so far in the inning, 94 miles an hour on the fastball. Now, do we see another aggressive fastball away, or do we see the curveball? So slow curveball.
Well, he struck Soriano out with the curveball, Pena with the fastball. It's the curve, and it's outside.
Well, you really wanted to make something happen right down that 2-2 pitch, and you know, a hitter always going to feel a little bit better on 3-2 than he does on 2-2.
Sellout crowd of over 38,000. Just about everybody is standing, and it's a changeup. Soria just emptied the closet on the Cubs. A strikeout with a curveball, with a fastball, and with a changeup. So the Royals put an end to a 6-game losing streak. Eric Hosmer driving in one of the runs. Chris Getz driving in the go-ahead run. With 2 outs in the 8th inning, an infield single. And the Royals bounce back after the Cubs took Game 1. Joaquin Soria